Hi everyone, Matt Matheson here, the speaking coach. Time to get a little video out for you guys. So by the end of this video, I'm going to give you 5 practical tips that will get you from where you are now to on stage and public speaking. And it's going to be highly personalized for you. So 5 tips, let's see how quickly I can get through them for you because I know you've all got really busy days. So tip number 1, the first thing that you need to focus on is your mindset. So what do I mean about mindset? People see this as a little bit of a crazy one, a hard one to crack, but really it's just about language, but not necessarily the language that comes out of our mouth, but the language that goes on in our head. This is the crucial stuff. We have all these stories going around in the back of our head that tells us that we can't do something, that we're not good enough, that people won't want to hear our message, or that we're going to freeze up and we're going to shake. And that's a negative language. It's the negative voices in our head that don't do us any good. So how do we change them? We need to change what's called our explanatory style. So those are the things that we tell ourselves when something happens. So we might have had a bad experience with public speaking once, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen again. But the problem is, when someone says, hey, you got to present, or you got to pitch, or you got to get up, you recall the bad experience, and then you tell yourself in your head, in that kind of bad mindset, that you're going to have another bad experience. So what you need to do is start swapping the negative words for positive words. So instead of telling yourself you're going to have a bad experience, you need to tell yourself you're going to have a good experience. You need to tell yourself that you are capable of public speaking. You need to tell yourself that you're going to be great. It might feel awkward, but it works. This is the stuff that CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is built on. It's a proven practice. Change the way you describe the situations to yourself. Positive thoughts lead to positive things. Negative thoughts, yeah, I think you can probably guess where they lead to. So number 1, mindset. So what's number 2? You need a storytelling style. So storytelling style. We've been telling stories since the dawn of time. It's probably the oldest way of communicating, I would say, from the pictures that you see on walls in caves right the way through to the ancient books and old wives' tales. However you want to say it, storytelling is absolutely key to public speaking. So what's your storytelling style, and do you have one? Everybody has a storytelling style, and we do it all the time. We do it down the pub, we do it with our friends, we do it with our family and in social circles, but for some reason when we get put on stage in front of everybody and it becomes a formality, it goes out the window and we start to get all static and fact-based and quite dull and boring, to be honest. So first exercise, grab yourself a book or a card or something like that and just write down, between 5 and 10 bullet points, what are the ingredients that make a fabulous story for you. It could be that you like a plot twist. It could be that you like different points of view. It could be that you like a breadth of characters. Write down the things that make a cracking story for you, the ingredients you love. Think about your favourite books, your favourite films, and then throw, what is it about those that I love? On that list, you will then have a list of things that will naturally be your preference when it comes to a storytelling style. You can come back to that. So when you come to craft your presentation and think, right, how do I construct my story? Come back to that list, have a look at it, and try to use the things that you've put down as a metaphor for constructing your talk or your story. Okay, part 1 was mindset. Part 2, storytelling style. You've got that. So part 3, what's your public speaking style? How are you going to be on stage? Easy. Get another pad, or the same pad if you like, and a pen, and write down what it is that you think makes a cracking public speaker. What makes a good public speaker? Is it someone who has stage presence? Is it someone who projects their voice? Is it someone who's really clear and relates to the audience? Is it somebody who paces around and uses the stage an awful lot? Or is it someone who stands up front and commands from the front? What is it that makes you? Have a think about the TED Talks that you might have seen, or the conferences that you've gone to, or even, dare I say it, like famous politician speeches. What is it that makes a good public speaker? What's the style? What's the delivery mechanism? When you've got that, relay back to yourself what it is you've written down, but here's the thing, do it in the style of what you've written down. Just see what happens, give it a go. I think you'll be quite surprised. That there is your public speaking style. Step 4, what's step 4? Okay, so we have mindset. You've got yourself all positive in your head and you're telling yourself the things that you need to sell you. Second thing is your public speaking style, your storytelling style. You've got that down, so you know how to craft a story. Public speaking style, you know how you want to be on stage from the greats that you've seen. You need now your conditions for success. So these are the things that come on the outside. They're about controlling external factors and your body and the things that you need to have in place to make sure all your anxieties are at bay and that you've done everything you can to get it right. Now, a little exercise that might help you uncover what these are is to write down an experience of where you felt like you really aced it at public speaking. This could be a wedding speech, it could be a pitch to a client, it could have been hosting a party and you were suddenly commanding the room. Write down that experience. And then I want you to write down an experience where it really, really went wrong, where it went really pear-shaped and you felt awful, the anxiety was maybe there and it all just went wrong. Write that down. Now you've got the two of them down, have a look at the two and figure out what was different between the two. What are the things that led to the successful event and what are the things that caused the bad event? And what you're trying to identify here is what are the conditions that ensure that you succeed? What are the things that will make sure that when you have that next public speaking gig, whether it's a pitch to a client or you're on stage in front of 500 people, if you do all these things and put all these things in place, you've got the best chance of getting it right. So it might be preparation, it might be correct travel, eating the right type of food, asking how big the audience is going to be, whatever it may be. What are the things that you know you need to have in place for you as an individual to get it right? Okay, conditions for success. We've looked at mindset, we've looked at storytelling, we've looked at your public speaking style, and we've looked at your conditions for success. What's the big reveal? What is number 5? I think you've probably guessed it. It's practice. I can't emphasize this enough. Practice, 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 practice. And then break this down into chunks. So for me, the golden rule is get your first 2 minutes nailed. And I would suggest after you've figured out your content for 2 minutes, you want to practice your first 2 minutes somewhere between 20 and 40 times so that you can relay it in your dreams and in your sleep. If you start off on a good foot, you'll continue on a good foot. If you start off on a bad foot, you'll continue on a bad foot, or you're going to have a much harder time getting back to where you were. So there you have it. There's my 5 tips. Follow those through, and I guarantee you're going to have a good groundwork, foundation laid for your next speaking gig, whatever that may be for you. Thanks for listening. If you want to find me online, I'm at www.thespeakingcoach.co.uk. And yeah, happy speaking. Bye-bye.